Welcome. In this video, we are going to analyze if XCN coin decline will deepen further. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and please watch to the end to understand. When we take a general look at the chart, we can see that a long-lasting descending trend structure still maintains its strength and validity. This descending trend line has previously determined the direction of the price multiple times, acting as a significant technical barrier, where investors have increased selling pressure. The trend line essentially acts like a ceiling over the price. The breakout of such structures typically requires strong buying interest and volume, and the fact that this breakout has not occurred yet may indicate that market participants are cautious or that bearish expectations are still dominant. Looking at the most recent touch, we observe that the price approached this trend line once again and tested it, but was met with a strong rejection from this area. This situation, which is commonly seen in technical analysis, serves as a vivid example of how trend lines function as resistance. In other words, although the price attempted an upward move, it was unable to break through this level due to insufficient buying pressure and had to pull back. At this point, the fact that the descending trend line remains active implies that downward pressure in price movements is continuing. The repeated rejections following each touch suggest that market psychology views this line as a selling opportunity. This indicates that the bearish trend is still in effect. Since the price has pulled back from this trend line again, there are now doubts about the sustainability of an upward movement. This pullback could be a signal that needs to be monitored closely by investors. However, this situation should not be perceived as entirely negative. In technical analysis, each touch of a trend line can also signal that the line is starting to weaken. Especially if the price is frequently testing this level, it may indicate that the downward pressure is still ongoing in the short term, but it also suggests that the likelihood of a breakout could increase in the longer term. Each new test slightly reduces the psychological impact of the trend line, which increases the chances of a potential breakout. Therefore, the fact that this descending trend line is being repeatedly tested by the price can be seen as a sign of preparation before a breakout. Currently, since the price is reacting downward from this strong trend line again, lower support regions might be tested in the upcoming period. The price movements at these support levels will give us clues as to whether the decline will deepen or not. If the price forms a strong base at the lower support levels and makes another upward move, the descending trend line may be tested once more, and this time the likelihood of a breakout could be much higher. Thus, the current pullback in price can also be viewed as just a corrective movement. In conclusion, the descending trend structure still retains its technical importance. Each touch of this line should be considered a moment where the balance of power in the market is being tested. The fact that the trend line has not been broken on the most recent test suggests that downward movements may continue in the short term. However, in the medium and long term, as the pressure from this trend line decreases, a breakout may be on the horizon. The way the technical outlook is shaping up requires investors to be cautious and strategic in their moves at these levels. This is because trend lines are not only indicators of past price behavior, but also fundamental building blocks of future price direction. Now let's see what the other metrics have to say. When we take a closer look at the chart, as I highlighted in my previous technical analysis video, the support line that the price is currently trading above is in a very critical and strategic position. This level is not only a technical support point, but also a region where the price has previously reacted strongly multiple times, with buyers stepping in heavily and the market changing direction to gain upward momentum. Therefore, rather than viewing this level as just a regular support, it should be seen as a point where investor emotions and psychology intensify, and a significant consensus has formed in the market. Looking at past price movements, we can see that every time the price has touched this area, it either faced an upward movement or at least entered a period of horizontal consolidation. This indicates a working support structure in technical analysis. Now the price has reached this important level again, and this represents a very decisive threshold for investors. This means that either this level will hold once again and the price will recover and initiate an upward movement, or if the buyers fail to show enough strength, the support will break and the decline will deepen. At the moment, the price has touched this level, and investors' eyes are locked on it. At critical support levels like this, it is common to see both buyers and sellers taking positions in significant volumes. This brings periods of increased price movement and heightened volatility. For this reason, developments at this level are of great importance to investors. If the support line holds and the price manages to stay above it, this could restore confidence in the market. A recovery from this level would indicate that investors still view it as a strong base and would create a positive sentiment. If the support level holds, the price will likely test previous peak points and resistance lines as initial levels to move upward. However, the key factor here is the psychological strength provided by the support level, which could shift the market sentiment to a more positive outlook. These types of reversal points are often observed as areas where market trends change. Therefore, maintaining the support level could signal not only a short-term bounce, but also the beginning of a larger upward trend. Of course, the other scenario is not out of the question. If the price fails to break through the support level and starts closing below it, then the support region would be considered broken. In technical analysis, such breakouts are typically interpreted as signals of a deeper pullback. In this case, the price may start searching for new lower levels, and a pullback toward the next support zone could be observed. In this situation, investors would need to be more cautious and monitor new support levels. It should also be noted that my previous videos, where I marked this support level based on prior predictions, have become a factor in boosting market confidence now that the price has reached this level. This demonstrates the value of accurate predictions in technical analysis for investors. Now all eyes are on this critical support zone, and the price behavior here will be crucial not only for the short term, but also for determining the medium-term direction. If this level holds, we could see a positive reversal in the technical outlook, and the price may gain strong upward momentum. However, if a breakdown occurs, the price may enter a search for new lows, and the bearish trend could accelerate once again. When we take a closer look at the MACD indicator, we can see that the lines are currently trading very close to the zero line. This is a crucial position in technical analysis because the distance between the MACD and the zero line is an important indicator for assessing the current momentum strength and trend direction in the market. In the current scenario, the MACD lines are moving horizontally at this zero level, clearly showing that the market is indecisive and in search of a direction. If, in the coming period, these lines fall below the zero line, this could be interpreted as a negative signal. This is because when the MACD lines move below the zero line, it indicates a loss of momentum in the price movement, and the strength of sellers in the market is increasing. This naturally creates downward pressure on the price and could open the door to a downward movement, particularly if the MACD crosses below the zero line along with the signal line. This would strengthen the signal and could be a precursor to a potential downtrend. At this point, what's important is not just whether the MACD moves below the zero line, but also the volume and price structure in which this movement occurs. If the MACD falls below the zero line while the price also breaks down strongly in a downward direction, the combination of these two signals would increase the likelihood of a decline. In this case, it would be a sound strategy for investors to act more cautiously, setting stop-loss levels to mitigate their risk. However, this breakout has not yet occurred. This means that although price momentum seems to be weakening, the market has not yet made the clear move that will determine its direction. The MACD is still hovering right above the zero line, indicating that the market is in a phase of indecision when it comes to determining its next move. In such moments, it's essential for investors to be patient and closely monitor developments, especially focusing on the future movements of the MACD. On the other hand, if the MACD does not move below the zero line, but instead consolidates here and then breaks upwards, this would be interpreted as a very positive signal. In this case, the MACD would show that the market is regaining upward momentum, and the probability of an ongoing rise would increase. This level is essentially a testing point. From here, the market will either strengthen and move upwards or show weakness and initiate a downward trend. In short, the close proximity of the MACD lines to the zero line indicates that the market has reached a critical juncture. Technical breakouts from this point could either trigger a strong upward momentum or deepen the loss of momentum. This behavior of the MACD in such regions is especially important for short-term investors. We'll see together whether the MACD will move below the zero line or not. Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments, analyze the risks correctly, and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.